So I think, again, it just comes down to what's important to you and how bad do you freaking want it? Like, how bad do you need this for yourself? Because, I mean, you go into the average world, most people are very unhealthy and unfit, and so it's just, but everybody wants to be fit. Nobody wants to be overweight. Nobody wants to feel bad about themselves or put on clothes and not feel confident in them, but not a lot of people want to do the work that requires. Or now you have like the world of surgeries and Ozempic and the quick fix, go get a BBL real quick and you don't have to work out, but it's like, does that really help?
All right. They gonna learn today. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Persevere Performance Podcast. As you guys know, I'm Coach G, and I have an incredible guest with me today. I am so hyped to have her on this. We were just talking about it. Every single time we have a conversation, man, it's just... sometimes we blow our own minds, dude. So I was like, all right, like we need to get on camera and talk the way we talk, and then just get real, man. I'm super excited to have her here for a couple reasons, right? One is a very busy business owner. Not only does she do financial services in the sense of retirement, she helps people with budgeting, and then there was one more thing, annuities. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how to say that word, that's why I forgot it. I didn't know how to spell it, that's for sure.
Now you do.
Yeah, now I do.
You learned something.
But she also does real estate. More than anything, she does real estate consulting. But one thing I really do love about Katie is that she is a huge advocate for mental health. And I'm just excited to talk about her journey because I've been really blessed to see her journey since February, right? She's been going at it for a lot longer than that, but just seeing the changes that she has made and the fact that she has decided to take control of what she can control, regardless of her schedule and her busyness, where most people would just use that as an excuse. It's just been really incredible to watch, man. So, welcome.
Well, thank you. I'm excited.
Good to have you. Me too, bro. Now, we both have ADHD, so if this conversation goes way left, we apologize, but you're in for a home run.
Buckle up, baby.
Yeah, buckle up for safety. So, the first thing I really want to talk about and what I want to ask you, right? Obviously, we've only been working together for, going in 4 months? 5 months, right? So you've been with Persevere 5 months.
Yeah.
Since February, like end of February. When you first came in, what was your goal?
Ooh, I mean, it was really to just go to the next level for myself because I was already working out. I was already into fitness for a while and kind of doing, self-taught stuff. I had a trainer before, but nothing like this. But I was really just in the space of wanting to learn more about nutrition and actually take that to the next level and take my health to the next level and not just go lift weights to go lift weights and look good. It was more like, how can I actually properly fuel my body? Like, what should I be eating? Like, and just having that accountability, no matter how accountable you are or how well you do in the gym, getting a coach and having somebody to come help you is next level. So that was really, for me, I wanted to take everything to the next level, not just my fitness, but my whole life. Like, I was like, it's time, I felt stagnant and stuff like that. And so I feel like when you get in that moment, you need to find somebody, you need help. Everyone needs help. Yeah.
100%, I agree. Even myself, right? And I say this all the time. Even great coaches have coaches for that reason, right? Because we are very biased to ourselves.
Yeah.
And sometimes things can get a little stagnant if you don't have somebody like saying, okay, we've done good there, but can we now elevate this?
Yeah.
And like I said, it's been incredible to watch, man, because you guys, when I say this, like, you came in with your mindset, like you knew what you wanted, right?
Yeah.
So as you jumped into our program and everything we do, man, it was just like, every time I asked something of you, you were bringing it back, and it was like you were acing it, right? So you said that you wanted to elevate everything in your life, not just your fitness. So talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the famous saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So I think if you can find one thing, whether it's in fitness or faith or your business, whatever it is, to just go hard at and like be 100% and like truly try to get better every single day, it'll leak into every other aspect of your life. So for me, like fitness has always been the pillar of that. It's just like every time I've learned something in fitness or grown in the gym, I've always found a way to apply it to my life. And so for me, again, just taking that to the next level, taking my nutrition to the next level, leaked into being a better business owner, being a better partner in my relationship, being a better daughter and sister for my family, and really just leveling up in every way that you possibly can, not just for myself and to look good and feel good, but for everything in my life to just feel better, you know, and just be better for my community around me, honestly.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest pieces of that, which we've kind of talked about before, is especially with your health. I genuinely believe that your health, like taking care of your health and your fitness, is the initial vehicle to self-development. Because when you feel good, right? When you're confident, when you know you're strong, and when you know you're willing to do the things that sometimes you don't feel like, 'cause, dude, if we're being honest, I don't feel like going to the gym every day.
Yep.
Right? But when you start building the muscle of like, I'm doing it anyways, then other things come in life, right? Like things, calls for a business, or this, you know, like, oh, I got to do it anyways, right? So like
Yeah.
you said, it just starts pouring into everything else. And like, that's why I do believe like health and fitness, somebody taking control of their health and fitness will elevate everything else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I love it.
It's really the one thing that you can actually start to see physical results, because like sometimes there's stuff that you can work on, but you're never really going to see the physical result of it. So having something where you can actually track, like, oh, I am losing weight, or I'm gaining muscle, or whatever, I'm getting stronger in the gym, like you said, it gains that confidence so much faster for yourself to be like, oh wait, I'm making progress. Like you can see the progress, or like your jeans fit a little bit better. It's game changer.
I think Tony Robbins is the one that says all the time, the true key to happiness is progress or growth.
Yes.
Right? And when you are feeding yourself that consistent, like, oh, I went up 2 pounds in this weight. Oh, I was able to drink my water by this time. Oh, I was able to smack my macros 0, 0, 0, right?
Yeah.
You're able to stack all these wins that are creating growth. That's where like true happiness actually comes in.
Yep.
So that's massive right there.
Yeah.
So you coming in, you guys, obviously you were already into fitness, you were already doing your thing, but I really want to talk more about like the mental space you were in when you joined us.
Yeah. I mean, I was a little stagnant. I was going through a lot of change when I joined. Like I had made the decision to really go full force in the financial services business, because I had been kind of just doing it on the side on top of real estate. But I was going through so much change. I'd really like pulled the trigger on changing that, and it was scary. Like I was terrified. I was just like, should I even be doing this? Am I making the right decision? And just all the things. So being able to come in and just have something where like I felt like I had some control. I felt like I had a coach to help me, guide me. Like even just talking to you on a weekly basis helps so much. It's helped my mental space, because I was in a position of knowing I needed to level up, knowing I was at a position in my life of like, okay, I don't want to stay here forever. I don't want to keep doing what I've been doing, because what I've been doing has worked so far, but you know, it was just, again, that next level step, like just knowing I'm stagnant, I'm not hitting my protein goals, I'm not hitting what I know I should be, and just knowing that you need help. Like I needed help. Doesn't matter what position you're in. I knew I needed some sort of coach, something outside of business, because all I was doing for the last 5 years is focus on business, and that's just taken over my life. So I was like, I need something that's not business related, that's just going to help me get out of this scared change space. Like, what can I control right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that's huge too. Because like you said, that's like one thing you could control, right?
Yeah.
Like all this other change is happening. Like, no, I can't control my food. I can't control my water. I can't control my workouts, my activity. Like there's only so many things we as humans can really control.
Yep.
Right? So actually taking charge of those things gives you that like peace of mind of like, hey, even though today was chaos, I still controlled what I could control.
Yep.
And going into that, when you guys, I keep saying you guys, when you jumped into this, right? You jumped into 75 hard.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that.
Oh man. I mean, for one, I just knew that extra level of accountability was going to help me hit that diet, because I think that was the biggest struggle. I was really scared. I was like hitting your protein every day, hitting your macros every day. I've never done that before. I've always struggled to eat enough food. I've always just underate way too much. And so 75 hard, I just knew, because I had done it before, but not to the level that I did it this time. And so I just knew, like, if you're going to do it right. If you're going to pay money for this coach, do it right. And like, just, it's that jump start that I think everybody could use in their life, you know, because yes, you can hold yourself accountable. Oh, I go to the gym 5 days a week and I get 2 days off, and oh, I'll hit my macros most of the days. But when you put yourself in a position where you have to hit this every single day, it just makes you, it clicks something in your brain where you're like, oh, I can do this every single day. It's not as hard as I thought it would be, because you have an app that makes you say, I start over, and yeah, you have Andy looking at you. And so for me, I just knew, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it right, and I'm gonna like go as hard as I possibly can go, and not just, you know, half-ass it, I guess.
Yeah.
Can I curse?
No, absolutely. Fuck yeah, you can.
Okay. Yeah.
No, and the biggest thing with that too is your results, man. In those 75 days, right? 2.5 months. I always tell those people, right? 75 sounds so big, but when you actually break it into months, it's like 2.5 months, bro.
Yep.
You are fine, okay? You will be okay, and the rest of your life is still gonna happen. Just invest these next 2.5 months and go all in on it.
Yes.
And like you said, right? Like, this was intense because I made sure you guys were hitting your macros on point.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was like no deviation, no just not eating out. Like, no, it's like, no, if you don't hit your macros, you're back to the beginning, bro.
Yep.
And that right there is what truly elevated those results overall, right? Because you were so dialed in and on point that, like, people don't realize how much change you can actually make in 2.5 months if you are consistent.
Yeah.
So.
And really your dedication to it as well, because there was plenty of nights where I was eating so much food at the end of the day because I had missed meals or whatever, and I'm like gagging, I'm ready to throw up, but I was just like, I don't want to start over, especially when you're in 75 hard and you're past like 2 weeks, you're like, I'm not starting over, like I'm not doing this.
Yep.
And so just those nights of like, really, it was the true test of like, how dedicated are you? Are you gonna go to sleep when you want to go to sleep, or are you gonna stay up and go on that walk that you didn't do? Or are you gonna stay up and eat 67 grams of protein in this one meal and feel full and not want to do it? But it was a true test of like, how dedicated are you? And it just changed everything for me, and it changed the mindset on telling yourself how hard it would be. Like, I always told myself, oh, I'd never count my macros, like that's extreme. And then I did it and I was like, oh.
And now you can't go without it.
Yeah, now I can't not count my macros.
Yeah. I think the biggest piece of 75 Hard and Live Hard program, period, is it elevates your standards, right? So the things that you used to think were hard, you're like, that actually wasn't that hard.
Yes, yeah, you just, as humans, we like to overthink, overcomplicate everything, and you're telling yourself a story of something you've never done. So if you've never done 75 hard and you're like, I can't do that, like then you're right. Like, honestly, if you tell yourself you can and you can't do it, you're right at the end of the day. But it's like, stop telling yourself these negative stories. Stop, like, I call them word curses. Like, you're speaking these word curses into your life. Like, oh, I could never do that. I would never. And it's just like, don't say that. You don't know that. You don't know what you're capable of until you actually try to do it. And that was the biggest thing for me, is like, oh, I can hit my macros, and it's fun to hit my macros, and I feel million times better.
And that's it right there, right? You start honing into it's not just hitting my macros for the results. It's like, no, I'm hitting my macros and they're making me perform better in the gym. I'm performing better in my day. I'm not as tired. I don't need as much caffeine. I don't, like, all of these other things that, like, yes, the results are great, but dude, how you feel is like, it's priceless to me.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And I just think it's something that gets overlooked, nutrition, so much. And actually, because even if I said something yesterday you saw, and it was like, even if you don't work out and you're not into fitness and you don't have like these crazy goals to hit, you should still have a kind of baseline of what you should be eating on a daily basis just to fuel your body. Like, nothing will feel better than actually properly fueling your body, drinking enough water. All that stuff will just, like you said, make you show up better, make you feel better. It's not even about the physical results that you get. It's really just about, like, making yourself feel like you actually are functioning right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always put in a scenario of, like, one, you would not start driving to California from here on a quarter tank, right? And most people are going their entire days without any food. Mm-hmm. And they feel like shit, they have headaches, they're like tired, they're barely moving, right? Bro, you got a quarter tank, right? Like, you're empty at this point, you're literally driving on fumes.
Yeah.
And then also, you know, when it comes to people that are athletes and are athletic and are performing, if you buy a sports car, you're not gonna go put 87 octane in your car.
Yep.
Because it's gonna fuck up your engine.
Yep.
Right? So you elevate yourself to, like, that athleticism. Now those macros become so much more important because you're like, I know what this is doing for my runs.
Yep.
I know how this is gonna impact my squats tomorrow. I know, right? You start putting that together and you're like, yeah, no, I'm not skipping that.
Nope.
Not worth it.
Nope.
Right? Even if I have to suffer through it, I'm fucking getting that in.
Yep, because you know that next day you're going to be regretting it. Like, I know if I don't hit my macros and the next day, I feel it in the gym, I feel it in my day, I feel weak, you know, and it's bad. Or if, you know, you go the opposite and you eat too much, or, you know, you go overzealous on your fats or whatever, then you don't feel good. It doesn't feel good to you, especially for so long. If for these last 5 months, I've hit my macros pretty 99.9% of the time.
Yeah.
And so it's now, if I miss a day, like having food poisoning this week, it was horrible. I felt horrible. Even the next day, like eating, and I could finally eat, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm coming back to life.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, I advocate for macros.
100%.
Yeah.
Me too. Just a little bit, though. Not so much. You know, and another thing I really want to touch base on too is, I know you're busy, dude. Like, I know your schedule is fucking insane. How did you make time for it?
I mean, it was hard. Again, 75 hard. It's like you have to make the time, and it's really just about taking kind of a step back and, like, looking at your life from a bird's eye view and being like, okay, like, I am wasting time somewhere. I do have time for something. If you have time to watch Netflix, if you have time to scroll on some social media platform, if you have time to just dilly-dally around, you have time to go on a walk. You have time to go do a workout. You have time to go grocery shopping and meal prep. And for me, it was more important for me to hit my goals and elevate my life than it was to just stay comfortable, because it is more comfortable. And it honestly is easier to be like, I'm gonna skip that workout. I'm not gonna go outside today. You know, I'm not hit my macros. I'll do it tomorrow. Like, it's easy. But for me, it was really just getting serious. And it wasn't just the next day I'm super effective. Like, I had many days in the beginning of 75 Hard where I was up till midnight doing everything at the very last minute because I didn't make it a priority earlier in the day. And then as time went on, I started to get better, and I started to make little improvements, wake up earlier, even though I didn't want to. Yeah. But it's like, you gotta wake up earlier. Yeah. And so it was really just figuring out where I'm wasting time. Like, I told you this, I started to time myself on things. Like, okay, when I get home from the gym, how long does it take me to eat breakfast, clean up breakfast, shower, and, like, actually get where I'm ready for work and I'm ready for the day. And I was like, it shouldn't be taking me this long. Like, where is this gap of time going? And so it's really just, again, thinking about how much time you're actually taking on stuff and not just blindly walking through life.
Right.
And it like forces you to be effective with your time. And so it wasn't like, yes, I could spend all day on business. That is my passion. Like, I could spend all day working. I could spend all day at the gym. Like, those are the two things I could do, but I can't. You know, you have to make the time for these things, even reading. Like, sometimes it doesn't feel very productive to read or even go on a walk sometimes. You're like, yeah, this is good for my health, but, you know, I could be doing something for a client, or I could be marketing my business, or, you know. And so for me, it was just, okay, my health is a priority. Not only just focusing solely on business is also a priority. And so it was really just, again, making it an actual priority in my life, but not just thinking everything was going to change in one day. It was a process. It was like every week we're getting a little bit better at this. And you gave me so many tips on that too. Just
Well, you were just building systems, man. That's how I look at it, right? I think everything we do, especially when we want to be consistent in something, it's all about building systems that keep you consistent.
yeah.
Right? And sticking to those systems as much as you possibly can, right? Because then that's where you become effective. You just already know how your day's gonna go, right? Like, it just works. But that's one thing that I did admire so much, because I've never had anybody come into it and time themselves on stuff and like tell me like, you know, I'm actually taking like an hour and a half to get ready for work, and I can't be taking that long. And then you cut it down to like 45 minutes or something like that. And you just kept chipping away, and it's like, what if I make my breakfast? If I pre-make it and I just freeze it, right? You started like coming up with like systems
Yeah.
to just make that little time more effective
Yeah.
and more efficient. So I think that's what this whole program is all about, and especially when it comes to time management, right? You just start systematizing things a little bit better, which make you more effective, more productive, and then you start realizing like, oh my God, like I was wasting a lot of time,
Oh yeah.
right?
A lot. And we all do it. I still waste time.
Dude,
Like,
same. Yeah,
yeah.
It's
normal. Like, you're human, and we're in a very distracting world right now.
Environment,
And so and my work is pretty much all online at this point now. So it's very hard. Like, I get distracted all the time. I still have days I'm like, dang, shit. Like, but it's just, again, it's at least being aware of it at the end of the day, saying, okay, I know I wasted a little bit of time today, but tomorrow I'm going to be a little bit better at it, and it's okay. Like, it's okay. Give yourself grace, because we all waste time, and it's not like I am not productive every minute of every single day. And I don't plan on being productive every minute of every single day, but I do plan on being better every single day and working towards the things that I want to.
I love that. Just 1% better every day, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, none of us are perfect, dude. And there is a lot of fucking distractions thrown at us right now. But being able to navigate those and be aware of them too, I think is like a superpower.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that Live Hard definitely does for you, because you can't say yes to everything anymore.
Yeah.
Right? You have to manage your time so tightly that you're like, no, dude, like I gotta do a walk, and I still gotta do a workout, and I still gotta read. Like, I haven't even like packed my meal. No, like, I'm sorry, I can't help you today. But if we schedule it, right? Like, it just makes you more. It makes you respect your time so much more.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. And you appreciate the time you have, or when you can, you know, crawl out some time for your family, or something that's not, you know, productive. It makes you feel so much better, because you know, okay, I was effective throughout my whole day. I got what I needed to get done, and now I can relax, because I know I chipped off like so much of what I needed to do today. And it gives you a sense of peace when you can actually feel like you accomplish something every single day. And that's what 75 Hard is so important, that you have a checklist every single day where, like you said, you can build that confidence, like, damn, I really did that. Even like the first 30 days, you're like, damn, a whole month. Like, I went through a whole month of doing this.
Yeah.
Okay, you start feeling yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Actually, you start feeling it at like week 2.
Yeah.
Because you're just so dialed in, and you start like really start feeling that momentum start to kick in, and you're like, man, like, damn, like, let's go.
Yeah.
And back to what you just said, when you are able to do those things, when you are able to hang out with your family or your partner, it makes you so much more present.
Yeah.
Because you're like, my shit's done.
Yep.
dump it all out. We're right here,
Yep.
right now. So
Yeah.
I love that. What do you feel? Oh my God, I exited out of it. Hold on, technical difficulties. There we go. What do you feel you've gained the most from that program?
Ooh, I mean, honestly, really the time management, I think, because that's where I struggled the most. I mean, you know, ADHD brain, it's tough. Like the time blindness is real. Like, I'm not even, take the quotes away. That's real. The time blindness is real. 5 minutes feels like 5 seconds to me sometimes. Like 30 minutes will go by. I'm like, wait, I thought that was 5 minutes. So being able to have something where like you have to have a list of things to do, especially as a business owner. I don't have a boss. Nobody tells me to show up. Nobody tells me what time I need to start working.
Right.
So it's like having some sort of kind of authority over yourself to be like, okay, but you have to get this list of things done. And so for me, the time management was everything, because we all say, oh, I don't have time for that. Oh, I don't have enough time to do that. And so for me, it was really learning how, like, no, you do have time for it. You have to make the time for it. And so, yeah, I think the time management has helped me tremendously. That's like the biggest one.
Same.
Yeah.
I always tell, like, when somebody asks me, like, what's the one thing I've gained the most, is seriously, like, it's made me so in tune with my time, my tasks, my hours, even like 30-minute blocks. Like, you know what I'm saying? And Ed talks about this, like how he has like 6 days in one day. I have 2. I'm not to that level yet. Right?
Yeah.
But I'll literally knock out all of my morning work, right? Knock out my stuff, nap in the middle of the day, and then I have a whole other day till I get other stuff done.
Yeah.
And the time management thing is like one of the biggest things I think most people are lacking, if we're being honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you said, everybody's like, oh, I just don't have time. And I'm like, bro, what do you mean you don't have time?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, you know, it's the worst is when people like can't track their food and they're like, oh, I don't have time to track my food. I'm like, let me see your phone. You look at their screen time on Instagram. I'm like, bro, you were on Instagram 3 hours yesterday.
Yep.
You're telling me that out of those 3 hours, you couldn't have took 15 minutes to go track your food?
Yep. And it's like, you might feel like you don't have time, but like you said, if you actually start tracking some data and you see, you're like, wait a minute. Or if you even just Netflix, one episode of most Netflix or whatever shows are like an hour long. That's a whole freaking hour. And it's not like, oh, you could never watch Netflix again and Hulu or stuff like that. But if you tell yourself, I want to get more fit or I want to feel better, but I just don't have time to work out, I don't have time to, then it's like, you do though.
Yeah.
Or you can wake up earlier, or you can do whatever you need to do. Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time with the I don't have time excuse, because it's really like, what's your priority?
Yeah.
Because if your friend invited you out to the bar and you went out for 4 hours on a Friday night, you had time for that somehow, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, and that's like the biggest thing that I'd say when people tell me they don't have time. I'm like, it's just not a priority.
Yeah.
It's not that you don't have time. It's just not important to you. And that's okay, right? But it hits different when you say it that way.
Yeah.
It's just not that important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. Well, I guess when you think of it that way, it's like, look.
Yeah.
I guess I could make the time. You know?
Yeah. And it's not to make yourself feel bad, because we've all said it. We've all done it. And we all tell ourselves we don't have time to do certain things. Like, even for me, like, I have a hard time having fun. Like, I don't want to have fun. I want to work out and I want to focus on business, and I don't ever really want to do anything, as I tell myself I don't have time. But for me, it's not that important to go out. It's not that important to have a social life. Like, I'm very happy with business. Yeah. So I think, again, it just comes down to what's important to you and how bad do you freaking want it? Like, how bad do you need this for yourself? Because, I mean, you go into the average world, most people are very unhealthy and unfit, and so it's just, but everybody wants to be fit. Nobody wants to be overweight. Nobody wants to feel bad about themselves or put on clothes and not feel confident in them. But not a lot of people want to do the work that requires. Or now you have like the world of surgeries and Ozempic and the quick fix, you know, go get a BBL real quick and you don't have to work out. But it's like, does that really help?
Yeah.
I don't think it's helping.
Especially mentally.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't help. Like, it may help the look. It may help, you know, like, get you that result you want, but mentally, you still think about it. I guarantee you, right? Like, I don't know. I've never gone through that, except for I probably should get a BBL, but we'll talk about that on another episode.
BBLs.
BBLs for life, baby. Fuck, I lost my train of thought.
Quick
but
fixes. And yeah.
all I was saying is like, you know, if you do, like, if you could have just worked out and got that result, and you went and you took the easy path, every time somebody says something or compliments it, dude, in the back of your mind, you're like, oh yeah, I kind of cheated, right?
Yep.
I kind of, you know, oh my god, like, and I just always think that that's actually probably worse for somebody, right? Because then it's constantly being put in front of you.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion, and I'm not saying you shouldn't go do it. I'm just saying that's just my thought process behind it. Now, am I saying like nobody should do it? No, I think there is certain cases where people like, okay, like some people should get like the bypass or whatever they need.
Yeah, or like in like the skin surgery because
Right.
they did lose some weight. Yeah,
Right. But
there's
if you're just doing it because you're just straight like lazy and you just don't want to put in the work, man, it's just probably gonna hurt you more than really benefit you.
yeah, and if you keep the same habits, the surgery is only gonna last
Right.
for so long.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing too. Like you see people rebound from all these pills and these medications, and it's like, dude, it's okay. You didn't break the habit. Yes, you took something that was making you less hungry, but those patterns were still in your mind. Like you're still like that person.
Yeah, nothing changed, just the physical. Yeah.
And I think that's actually the most important piece of any journey anyways. It's not really the result, it's who you become in achieving that result. So when you take those shortcuts, you didn't get to become the person that keeps that result. So in the end, you're not gonna keep that result.
Yeah, you lose so much of the benefit of it because like we said, you know, fitness. There's plenty of people who work out all the time for their health, but they don't necessarily look like a bodybuilder or an Instagram influencer. But they're just doing it because they like to move their body and they want to feel healthy. They want to get strong, and that's perfectly fine. You know, it's like you said, that mental side of it and being able to push yourself and the confidence you get knowing like I did this, I put in the work for this, you know I did. That's just something that you can't buy.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree. And that's, I think, in any area of life too.
Yeah. So
talk to me about one of the biggest challenges you faced during 75 Hard.
Oh yeah. You know what? I would say honestly, just those days where you really don't feel well, like, you know, as a girl, like on my period, those are typically days I would like cool it, do something light, or sometimes not do anything, you know, and just, you know, you get cravings, you want to eat chocolate, you want to do all the things, you know, things like that. For me, it was on those really hard days, or walking in the rain. Like it rained a lot when I was doing 75 Hard, and you're like, oh, I don't want to get wet, like my hair, you know, all the things. So for me, it was just the doing it every single day, especially for me, like around day 45, like when you're close to that, in that halfway mark, you are over it. Like, I'll be honest, I was over it. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I think for me, it was just pushing through that like half end. You know, when you're at like the half end of a marathon, I'm sure it's miserable. I'm sure you really just want to quit and just like go to the side and be a water cup person, you know, and that's how I felt. I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I want a rest day. Like, I wanted a rest day so bad. I was like, I don't want to work out. I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit on my couch on a Sunday and just not move. And so for me, it was just that mental of like those days where you just don't feel good. You don't feel like doing it and just like pushing through anyway. But again, then at the end of the day, when you can check off all the things and you're like, I really didn't feel like doing any of this, you feel a million times better. And the next day you feel better. So, but for sure, it was like getting to that halfway point. I was tired. I was over it. My body was sore. I was just like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah.
Those days are huge, though, and I genuinely believe those are the most important days of the program because those are the ones where you are proving to yourself that you do want it. And like you said, when you get to check it all off at the end of the day, and you know, because nobody else knows, right? Nobody else can tell how you feel, but you know how you did not want to do it, and you did not want to get up, and you just didn't want to even get out of bed.
Yeah.
But you still conquer that day. It just gives you so much more confidence in approaching the next day because you're like, fuck, like if I did it yesterday, bro, I'm fine today.
Yep.
You know, and you can correlate that to business too. Like, think about how many people stop in their business so close to the end, so close to that result they want, right? Because it does get hard, and you do get over it because you have to repetitively do things that you probably don't want to do a lot more often than not.
Yeah.
Right? And same with relationships. You could really correlate it to anything you really want, but I think that's that halfway point. You're right. It's the hardest for everybody, man. For me too, right?
Yeah.
You get to that point, you're like, oh my God, bro. Like, okay, like
Yeah.
just one day.
Yeah.
I just want sushi, man.
Yes.
You know?
Or like food or hanging out with family, and like, my family, or we have a holiday comes up and your family's eating the dessert or they're drinking mimosas or whatever, and you're just, and they're like, why aren't you, so you have one, and you're just like, no, and you can't, but you still got to be with them. But that was really hard too, is like being with family, and like my brother's like, come on, have a drink, and I went to my brother's house for a UFC fight, and it's drinks galore, dessert, and I was just like, I want it all, and I couldn't. So that was hard. Is saying no too. Is just like, because it's just an app, like you said. You could take a sip of alcohol and still check your stuff off.
Hell no, you feel that so hard.
Yeah, and so like that was how I was feeling. I was like, I could either start over and have a good time, or I could just still have a good time and not have it, even though I want it.
Yeah. And conquering that probably showed you a whole other side of you too, where like, dude, I don't need that. Like, I didn't need that to have fun. I still enjoyed the shit out of the time with my family. We still had a blast. Yeah, everybody else was drunk, but I still had a good time with them, and I got to spend that time,
Yeah.
It paints the picture of like, I really don't need these things, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I never have it, or I'll never have it, right? It's like, but I didn't need it.
Yep.
And it just gives you like this freedom of the chains of like, you need to drink to have fun, right?
Yeah.
It's like you cut those chains off, and you're like, wow, I don't need to.
Nope.
So
Yeah.
that's huge. So and obviously like you conquered that. You conquered 75 hard, working with us, and I really just wanted to ask, like, what's your experience with Persevere so far? If you could explain it in like a short.
Life-changing, honestly. Like, it was, like I said kind of in the beginning, is I had a trainer before, and they were not, it was very selfish. Like, they had really no interest in helping me get better. It was just I would come in and work out, and that was it. Like, there was nothing. Like, there was no, and it was group training, and there was really no like one-on-one, what do you need? Like, when I hop on a call with you and you're just like, what do you need? Like, what have you been struggling with this week? It's like the best. Like, I look forward to our calls every single week. I get so excited because I'm like, Pollo's gonna sauce me up with something. Like, he's gonna give me something to make my life better.
I do too, though, by the way, just so you know.
And it's truly, it's been just that next level of support that we all need, because a lot of times our friends and family aren't doing these things, and they're not trying to get better, or a lot of times they try to talk you out of getting better. Like, oh, you can eat dessert, you don't need to hit your macros every day, you don't have to work out every day, like, take it easy. And they think out of love, it's like, oh, I love you, like, just calm down, like, don't be so hard on yourself. But having somebody who gets it, like, you get it, you get me, and like, I don't have a whole lot of people in my life that get it, so having that has just been such a game changer. And just the accountability too, because like, I'm gonna come in for a scan, and I know numbers don't lie, and the scan's gonna tell the truth whether I hit my macros, whether I did my workouts and I was pushing myself. And so having that level of accountability for anybody will change everything in your fitness, in your health, and everything. Because I mean, I don't know, I just don't think I could have ever accomplished hitting my macros the way I do now without coming here, for sure. Yeah.
I love that. It's been an incredible journey to be a part of, man. And honestly, like, it's you guys doing the work, right? I always tell you guys this all the time. Like, we're just guide rails. Like, we're literally just like, hey, you're going a little too far to the right, right? But as I said, man, you jumping in, you were determined, bro. Like, you wanted it. Like, you were like, and there was nothing stopping you. Yes, you struggled. Yes, there was a lot of things that we had to navigate through. But every single time we hopped on a call, and I give you pointers, or like whatever, we came up with systems together. Which also, you've helped me with a lot of systems from myself too. So it's this whole relationship has gone both ways, and I think that's what's massive about, like, I genuinely love what I do because I don't only get to help you guys, but you guys help me more than you guys can probably ever imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just came in, you wanted it, you had that fire, right? And there was nothing stopping you, and it's just been so fucking cool to watch, man.
Yeah.
So I have one last question.
Okay.
If you had one piece of advice to give somebody that's on the edge of starting their journey,
Yeah.
right? Like they want it, they're tired of feeling tired. They actually, I forgot to talk about something, and I'm gonna edit that side out. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna edit that part out.
Rewind.
Yeah.
Re.
Okay. So one more thing I really wanted to touch. Well, yeah. One more thing I really wanted to touch on is the mental health aspect of things. Because I know that's near and dear to your heart, like it's close to you, right? Talk to me about that. How has everything helped with that?
Yeah, I think for myself, getting into the gym in the get-go was what helped me with depression and just kind of feeling hopeless, feeling like you're out of control. Because like you said, there's a lot of things in life that you can't control, and there's circumstances and bad stuff happens or whatever. And so having just something to show up for myself, distract you. Because if you're really pushing yourself in the gym, there is not another thought in your brain other than my legs hurt and this hurts and
Better not drop this dumbbell on my face.
Exactly. And so for me, it was being able to take myself out of whatever negativity I was in, whatever I was feeling, and control something. Like I can control how I show up at the gym. I can control how much weight I decide to push. I can control how long I'm here for. That was the biggest game changer for me. And not only that, like it literally scientifically releases endorphins in your brain, like the chemicals. It's real, you know, because they call it a chemical imbalance. It will balance those chemicals back out, and the feeling, like it became an addiction because you're addicted to something whether you know it or not. And I was addicted to a very negative feeling. I was addicted to being depressed. I was addicted to that waking up and just honestly not wanting to be there. And so like being able to be like, no, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna get better, feel better about my body. It changed everything for me. Like that was the catalyst for me to get into self-development and get into, okay, like there is more things I can control and there is something I can do about this. It's not just this isn't like a lifetime disease. This is something I can fix. So, yeah.
I love that. And the reason I wanted to touch on that too is like, at the end of the day, I think a lot of the problem is that people have such a poor relationship with themselves because they can't even, like, you ask them, like, when is the last time you kept a promise to yourself?
Yeah.
Right? When's the last time you showed up to the gym when you said you were going to show up to the gym?
Yeah.
Right? Or you woke up at the time you set your alarm for. Right? And all of those little things, as you continue to break those promises and you continue to not do the things you say you're going to do, they start to weigh on you. Right?
Yeah.
And you know, like nobody else knows. Nobody else can see it, but you know how many times you've let yourself down.
Yep.
And you look at a relationship with a friend, right? If you invited your friend out all the time, and every time like you got to the place, they'd call you, hey, by the way, I'm not coming. At some point, you stop trusting that person and stop inviting them.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like the same thing with us. And that's huge, right? Because now you've stacked so many promises to you and like the things that you're doing that like you're like, no, like you have a good relationship with you.
Yeah, 100%. It truly is the one thing that you can take control of, unless you physically like cannot move, you know.
Right.
Like besides that, it's the one thing. It's like you can decide, you know what, I don't feel great, because when you have depression or you're in a very low state of mind, you feel like you can't do anything, like you don't want to get out of bed, and then you listen to that thought in your brain that's telling you just stay in bed, just don't do anything, feel bad for yourself. But when you can be like, no, I'm gonna go on a walk, I'm gonna go outside, I'm just gonna go to the gym for 30 minutes, or like whatever it is, you can start to, like you said, stack those wins and take back control of this thing, because this is a very complicated organ or whatever the brain is.
It's a fucking tool, man.
Yeah, it's very complicated, And I think we just kind of falter into just like letting it be and just being like, well, I have depression, so it's just what it is, and I'm just gonna feel bad every single day and not want to live. And it's not true. Like, it's just not true. And I'm a living example of that.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's amazing, and that's massive right there. Rosh, you good? I could cut it out from here.
Oh, okay.
He's like, oh, I gotta go.
I'm gonna head out.
All right, bro.
See you then.
Have a good day. I'll see you
Bye.
tomorrow. I should probably wait till the door opens. It's locked.
You're trapped.
You gotta stay.
Listen to us talk.
Is it stuck?
To the left,
Yeah. Got it?
To the left. Nice. Yeah.
All right. I got one last question for you. This has been amazing, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you. I really
Hell
appreciate
yeah,
it, and I
believe
really
me.
hope. I really hope. Actually, I don't hope. I know for a fact that somebody on the other side of that will watch this and be like, "Fuck," like, I want to feel the same way.
Yeah.
So, if
Same.
you had one piece of advice you could give somebody that's right on the edge, right? Like, they're tired of feeling depressed, tired, sick. They just want to make that change. If you had one piece of advice for that person, what would it be?
I would say to do things out of love less than, like, instead of doing things out of hate. Like, I hate the way I look. I hate my body. I hate the way I'm feeling. And doing it from a perspective of, like, changing that a little bit and being like, you know what, I love myself so much that I'm gonna take care of my body. Like, I love my family so much that I'm gonna get healthy for them. Like, I love how it feels, you know, things like that. Because yes, like, having a negative emotion, it can be a very good Kickstarter to, like, kick your butt and you're like, I hate the way I feel, like, these pants don't fit me anymore, I'm going to the gym. Like, that's a very good motivator for a very small period of time. Because what happens when you do fit in those jeans? What happens when you do start feeling good about yourself? Then what? What is that motivator? And so for me, like, I wish I would have loved myself a little bit more in the beginning, because it was all out of just hating my life, hating the position I was in, not liking my body. And everything really changed. And when I took, like, went full force and made it a lifestyle, it was because I love myself. I was like, you know what, I love this body I'm in and I appreciate it, my faith, like, I love this body that God gave me, so I'm gonna take care of it. You know, like they say, your body's a temple, like, take care of it because of the love. Like, I love my family so much that I wanna be an example for them on how they can live their life, versus just always being in a negative state of mind and using that as fuel. I would just say, just do it because you love yourself. Like, change your perspective a little bit, and you should be loving yourself. Even if you don't feel it right now, just know that one day you will feel that. And you're gonna be like, wow, I love myself for doing that. Like, thank you. Wow. Like, thank yourself. Give yourself some freaking kudos.
Dude, that is huge, man. That's fire. And that kind of gave me goosebumps just now, too. Because you're so right, man. And it's all of us, actually. I say so many people, but, like, even myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I take action. And obviously, like, that dissatisfaction, or, like, that not wanting to be in a space creates action.
Yeah.
But when you flip it and you say, dude, I love myself so much that I want to be better in this area. Mm-hmm. I love my family so much that I want to lead by example. And for your example, right, like, you got your whole family in here now, right? Like, working on themselves just because they saw the example and the tone you set and how you were feeling. They were like, man, like, how do I get some of that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's powerful, dude. That's huge.
Yeah. It's a completely different energy when you're showing up for yourself because you love yourself. You're like, no, I love myself. I love my life. I love the people around me. It's a completely different energy on how you show up. And for me, I just think it's where the longevity comes. Like, you can do that for a long period of time. You can't hate yourself forever.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, you can, but it's not going to take you anywhere good. That's for sure.
Yeah, this is not going to be a fun life for you or anybody.
Yeah, I love it. Well, that's really all I had for you, man. We absolutely crushed that one, too. And we didn't stray off the subject at all. I'm so proud of us. Let's go. Oh, what the hell? Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate
Thank
you
you.
taking your time to do this.
Yeah.
And let's continue to push it, man.
Yeah,
We're
thank
just
you.
getting started. We talk about this all the time, right? Like, you said it. It's having people even my life, right, that understand me. Because sometimes it is hard when you are driven, when you are set on your goals and you're like not allowing anything else to distract you. A lot of people don't understand that, man. And it can get lonely sometimes, actually a lot of the time,
Yeah.
which I've just kind of come to terms with. But having people like you in my life makes this journey so much like, okay, like I'm not insane.
Yes.
I just,
Well, maybe a little bit.
well, okay, yeah, actually, no, I didn't take that back. But you know,
Not alone.
it just gives you that sense of like, okay, like I'm not crazy for not wanting to go out. I'm not crazy for not wanting to drink. I'm not crazy for not wanting to do all these things that everybody else is doing. I'm just committed.
Yeah.
I'm driven, right? I'm set in where I want to go, and I'm
Yeah.
not allowing anything to stop me. And having other people in my life that are all about that and understand that makes a massive difference in just how I approach everything too.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. And give her a follow. I'm going to put all of her stuff down at the bottom. If any of you guys need any help with, anything financial, and then also real estate, give her a follow. And then also she'll be putting out some funny ass reels. So you definitely don't want to miss out on that. So thank you guys. I appreciate you.
Bye.
And don't forget, 1% better every day.